Rahul Mathur, in the behalf of the Juventus, I welcome all the delegates for this interesting topic on the treatment of allergic rhinitis into the COVID era. Today, our speaker is Dr. S.P. Singh. Dr.
Yes,
S.P. Singh is the director of S.P. Sani, sir. Sorry,
okay.
Dr. S.P. Sani is the director of the Om Sai ENT Hospital, and he is the one of the leading and the most familiar ENT centers in the Gwalior region. And sir, having a very rich experience in the field of ENT treatment. His surgeries includes in allergy, audiology, nasal and the sinus disorders. More Dr. Sani is the one of the research officer and the training coordinator into the health management and the communication
ज़्यादा बड़ा नहीं आ
ICMR,
रहा?
where he trained lot of TOT trainees. And Dr. Sani is awarded and with the prestigious WHO fellow. And more, Doctor, one more good thing regarding Dr. Sani is that he is very helping into the patient. Those patients who cannot come to their clinic, he is offering a one famous YouTube channel known as the Improving Life with Dr. S.P. Sani, where he gives to deal with the mental problem like anxiety, work pressure, and communication. So today we have a very good session with Dr. Sani. He is sharing all his experience and give his experience how to go with the allergic rhinitis into the COVID era, or you can say the new normal in that way. Just I am requesting all of you, if you have any question, there is a one question and answer window is there where you can type and the doctor will answer all the questions once his session is over. So just hand over the session to Dr. Sani. Sir, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mathur Sahab, for such a nice introduction. Thank you for that. These are all things due to blessing of God, and I give gratitude to all my seniors and God. And today's session is very important, really, in this pandemic era when we cannot use, and so oftenly it is very difficult to diagnose allergic rhinitis, and 360-degree management is required in cases of allergic rhinitis in this COVID era. But it doesn't mean that all allergic rhinitis patients have the COVID presentation. So just this is a very important topic. We will go slowly. If you have any question, you can go to the chat box or question answers side. We will give some time and we will take some questions after that. Okay. Just for introduction, see, this COVID-19 present with various clinical manifestations, as you all know, ranging from asymptomatic cases to mild and severe disease with or without pneumonia. It is not compulsory that all COVID patients have viral pneumonia or bacterial pneumonia. It can have COVID is asymptomatic, it is mild and severe. And patients with common allergic conditions do not develop additional distinct symptoms. If patient has allergic rhinitis, it does not have any other symptoms and do not seem to be at the increased risk of severe diseases. There are studies that shows that all allergic rhinitis patients are not COVID positive. That is, there are studies we will discuss in the coming slides. And you can say, just to repeat, COVID-19 patient present with various clinical manifestations ranging from asymptomatic cases to mild to severe diseases with or without pneumonia. And it doesn't compulsory that all allergic rhinitis patients have COVID positive. Allergic children show mild course like rest of the children. Same. Prevalence of allergic diseases, including asthma and allergic rhinitis, is increasing not in Asian countries, but it is a global problem nowadays. Allergic rhinitis patients, but Asian countries are increasing. They are going from allergic cases are going from mild to severe graph. In graph, you will see viral infections are major triggering factors in cases of this allergic uh, rhinitis cases. Very important question. Are allergic rhinitis patients at high risk of severe COVID-19? Mind में आता है कि all allergic rhinitis patients are at high risk. Although there are limited studies available, limited evidences are available compared with non-allergic individual, allergic rhinitis patients are not at higher risk of developing severe COVID-19. As I have told you previously, it doesn't, if patient has allergic rhinitis, it doesn't mean he is at the risk of COVID-19. In Chinese cohort of 40 hospitals, COVID hospitalized patient, COVID-19 adult patients and allergic rhinitis and asthma were not the risk factor for the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. Basically, I want to say in a Chinese study sample, 140 patients are hospitalized, adult patients, and allergic rhinitis and asthma were not the risk factor of SARS-CoV-20. SARS-CoV-20 means severe allergic rhinitis syndrome, COVID-2. Basically, what is this? It is a basically in Wuhan, from where this virus has activated and it has come. Research has shown that pneumonia is not compulsory in that cases. So a similar finding was also reported in children. In the recent study addressing the clinical characteristic of 182 children with COVID-19, 43 of them had allergic conditions, which was mainly allergic rhinitis. It means in 182 patient children's, only 43 of them has an allergic conditions, mainly allergic conditions. In this study, allergic children exhibited a disease. It shows that allergic rhinitis is not the compulsory, that if allergic rhinitis patients are not compulsory to go to the COVID-19 infection. Does allergic rhinitis impact the susceptibility to SARS-CoV-2 infection? In other words, there is no conclusive data on the impact of allergic rhinitis on COVID-19 susceptibility. A recent study with 24 allergic rhinitis patients demonstrated a reduction of ACE. What is ACE? ACE is a angiotensin converting enzyme. It is a host. It is the host in the nasal mucosa, where entry host, you can say, for the COVID-19 patients. And a recent study with 24 allergic rhinitis patients demonstrated a reduction of ACE expression in nasal brush samples following an allergic change. That is an important point. If any treatment is available just to prevent its hosting, we can win the race. Also, this study reported that lower ACP expression in the epithelium of asthmatic patient. Also, this study reported lower ACP2 expression in the epithelium of asthmatic patients. It means that if you have bronchial asthma, it doesn't mean that you are susceptible to COVID. On the other hand, TMPRSS2. TMPRSS2 is the transmembrane protein SERVIN2. This is a, you can say it is an enzyme that prepare the host. If anything, and through the IL-13, but the interleukin 13, this is regulated by. It indicates if this interleukin 13 is elevated, if it is increased, it means the infection is going high. That is why we are going for the test of interleukin 13. If it is raised, we ask the patient to get admitted in the hospitalization. Viral spread will be more there. Recommendation for the management of pediatric patients with allergic during COVID-19. There has been no scientific evidence that allergy treatments either increase susceptibility to SARC. SARC, I will now say SARC is a severe acute uh, allergic rhinitis syndrome or severe of COVID-19 disease. Pediatrician should treat the patient with allergic restricting the use of any specific medicine. Basically, pediatricians should have same guidelines. They will have to treat the children in the same pattern that they are treating already. Allergic rhinitis immunotherapy. Allergic rhinitis immunotherapy in patient with COVID-19 infection, intranasal corticosteroid, including spray, can be continued in allergic rhinitis at the recommended dose. Stopping local intranasal corticosteroid is not advisable. If patient has corticosteroid, it should not be stopped. It should be stopped in some cases that we will discuss afterwards. Suppression of immune system has not been proven. It has not been proved that by using this steroid, immune system is depressed, that is suppressed. And more, if we will discontinue, you will say in allergic rhinitis patient, sneezing will be more and spreading of the virus will be more. That is why since there is a paucity, matlab less of data. At present, there is a few data and that can be revised afterward. But at present, it is recommended that intracortical steroids, intranasal steroid should not be stopped in COVID positive patients. And this consonance-based Indian recommendations, drugs suggested to use COVID-19 pandemic for allergic rhinitis are with or without intranasal saline dose. If you will do intranasal saline, that will be more better. Antihistaminics can be used. Anti-leukotriene like Montelukast can be used and to be used depending upon the severity of the infection. Italian Society of Pediatric Allergy and Immunology, what they say? They say that topical nasal corticosteroid therapy for allergic rhinitis in children and adolescents with COVID-19 can be continued at recommended doses. It is appropriate to continue treatment with antihistaminic to lose control of oculorhinitis symptoms in seasonal periods due to increased exposure to indoor allergens. Interruption of topical nasal corticosteroids seem to reduce non-administration of topical nasal steroids may lead to increased nasal respiratory symptoms, in particularly nasal obstruction. Very important. If we are not going to use nasal corticosteroid, it may lead to increase in nasal respiratory symptoms, in particular nasal obstruction, more probably occurrence of potentially infected secretions. If will be there, and high risks of bacterial colonization also of lower airways. Airways will be blocked because nasal passage, pharynx, nasopharynx, larynx, and bronchial tree all have the pseudostratified equimous epithelium. They have the same tract. This is a single pipe disease. We will discuss afterwards. It should also be remembered that increase in rhinitis symptom will frequent sneezing leads to higher potential spread of the virus, and sneezing will lead to spread of the virus. Of both allergic of this symptom should be performed. Nose and eye scratching is a relevant source of severe allergic rhinitis syndrome, COVID-2 infection. Second generation antihistaminic should therefore be used in nasal and ocular itching. Effective and safe oral medication should be preferred, such as cetirizine, loratadine, fexofenadine, to relieve nasal and ocular complaints. European Rhinology Society advised not to prescribe nasal and systemic corticosteroids in patients with sudden loss of smell. COVID-19 patients is in COVID-19 positive patients, one of the first symptom is sudden loss of smell. And in that cases, steroids should not be advised. This recommendation came from the treatment result of SARC and Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. Observation data found impaired pulmonary clearance of pathogens and complication of steroid therapy in survivors. Means if we use the steroids, the lung clearance and bronchial clearance will decreased and asthma will loss of smell, steroid in this AIT means immunotherapy in allergic rhinitis patients should be interrupted. Most allergen immunotherapy product authorized for use should be discontinued in cases of infection. Same principle will apply to COVID-19 pandemic. The immunotherapy should be stopped when there is a COVID-19 positive case. In patient on subcutaneous or subclinical immunotherapy who are diagnosed with COVID-19, those suspected to SARS-CoV-2 infection or symptomatic patient with positive contact, immunotherapy should be interrupted until the patient has recovered from COVID. In patient not infected who have recovered from the infection can be continued. These recommendations are conditional and could be changed according to the data. Means you have to remember one line कि in COVID positive patient, immunotherapy should be stopped either sublingually or subcutaneously. This continuous sit and sit same thing. Subcutaneous immunotherapy, it can be continued in non-infectious for SARC or contact with SARC positive individual. It should be stopped. And patient recovered after COVID-19 infection, patient with negative test result, that is RT-PCR, and patient after an adequate quarantine that can, and a patient with serum IgA to SRS or COVID without virus IgE, then can again be used this subcutaneous immunotherapy. And symptomatic patient exposure to this immunotherapy should be stopped. And use this. ये तो आप रोज सुन ही रहे हैं कि a multi-center questionnaire data characterize the impact of face mask on allergic rhinitis symptoms reported by nurses with chronic allergic rhinitis. Among 215 nurses who used face mask, means surgical mask and N95 for 1 week each, proportion of nurses report or an N95 respirator as compared with no mask. Mask is a very important, mask has a very important use in preventing these viral infections. Similarly, proportion of nurses reporting several overall symptoms burden decreased significantly after wearing a surgical mask or N95. A decrease in symptom severity with face mask. Proposed mechanism include physical infiltration of face mask and potentially modified or hot air. When we nowadays this type of climate is a humid and hot air is there, at that time we have to wear the mask in open areas also. That is why government is saying कि wear the mask. जब भी आप बाहर जाएं मास्क पहन के जाएं, क्योंकि when you are taking this breathing humid and hot air, viruses are going, and viruses, this is also a virus saying you can go outside with only mask. Recommended mask to prevent allergic rhinitis syndrome. You can use surgical mask, you can use N95, but N95 is better because proven useful in reducing allergen exposure by blocking pollen access to nose and mouth. N95. Surgical masks do not protect against inhalation of small airborne contaminants. जो surgical mask है, वो small चीजों को नहीं करता. Not designed to seal tightly against user's mask. Contaminated air can pass through these gaps. Surgical mask has gaps. That is why N95 is better. When you are exposing to the COVID-95 patients, or nowadays, I think N95, when we can afford, N95 is the better mask for use. Same thing, these are the practical consideration for allergic therapies during COVID-19 patients. Therapies are second generation antihistaminics for allergic rhinitis and urticaria that can be continued, non-infected cases or infected cases, both. And topical steroids for atopic dermatitis, both are continued. If it is infected with COVID or non-infected with COVID. And inhaled corticosteroid continued. This is subcutaneous immunotherapy is not continued with this COVID positive patient. And in allergic patient, we are using immunotherapy. That is the best treatment. Very important, combined allergic rhinitis and asthma syndrome. This is known as CARAS. Basically, very important slide. See, link between upper and lower airways. Basically, I am an ENT surgeon, but still I have to do spirometry, and we have to give inhalers because links between upper and lower airways were clinically noted early in 1800. Nasal airway and their closely associated paranasal sinuses are an integral part of respiratory system. And link between allergic rhinitis and asthma is well established. 80% of allergic rhinitis patients develop asthma, and they are linked because common anatomical structure. Nasal and bronchial mucosa present similar and functional complementary. Same histopathology. The structure of airways mucosa presents similarities between the nose, lungs, and both share same pseudo-stratified epithelium with columnar sedated cell resting on the basement membrane. You can, in other words, in one line, you can say it is a single pipe disease. If allergic rhinitis is not controlled there, it can land 80% patient will land up in bronchial asthma. That is the reason inhalers are, all the companies are coming with inhalers because they know their future is bright with inhalers. And nowadays, possibilities of inhalers are increased. In every family, most of the persons are taking allergic these inhalers. Same thing has been diagrammatically shown. Same key, this is the same bronchial tree, pseudo-stratified epithelium, same. Common trigger factors for these asthma and allergic rhinitis: pollens, molds, house mold dusts, animal dander, insects, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory should be avoided. Only you can give paracetamol to these allergic rhinitis patients. Don't give combinations. Don't give this Nemuslide, all these things. These are non-steroidal. Naproxen is also a non-steroidal combination. Epidemiological link. Epidemiological studies have constantly shown that asthma and rhinitis often coexist. Asthmatic present is increased in allergic rhinitis and particularly so in the persistent and moderate severe rhinitis. Risk rhinitis as a risk factor for asthma. That is truly true. Patients with allergic rhinitis have a threshold greater chances of developing asthma because single pipe disease. Patients with more severe and persistent allergic rhinitis are at higher risk of developing asthma. Just I have told you previously, 80% of asthma will be present in allergic patients. Common pathophysiology, both are inflammatory disease, both are characterized by the same eosinophil T cells, mast cells, cytokine, local, all these things. Common pathways, IgE mediated allergies. Before giving this combination of Montelukast, we are nowadays we are giving IgE label. We are going for the test of IgE labels. If it is increased, we are writing the combination of Montelukast with levocetirizine or fexofenadine or loratadine, anything. Typical early and late phases responses are also cardinal features are common. This concept is referred to as united airway disease, one airway, one disease, or allergic rhinobronchitis. Although asthma and allergic rhinitis commonly occur together, treatment for one of the conditions could potentially elevate the consisting conditions. Therapeutic outcomes of allergic rhinitis in asthma. Allergic rhinitis treatment improves asthma symptoms and lower the overall cost and reduces hospitalization, suggesting the upper airway disease is at the risk factor for the asthma. That I have told you, if patients are controlled and we are able to diagnose the allergic rhinitis properly, and if we can able to give them anti-allergic, antihistaminics, and intranasal steroids combinations properly at the level of allergic rhinitis, we can prevent them from the asthma, and that will prevent their hospitalization, their life, their quality of life, and their economicity. Treatment of this combined allergic rhinitis asthmatic syndrome to control the allergic reaction in rhinitis, antihistaminic, nasal decongestant, promote a rapid vasoconstriction relief from nasal air blockage. For the rapid control of asthmatic crisis, bronchodilators, B-adrenergic antagonist, M3 receptor antagonist, or phosphodiesterase. Antagonist of this leukotriene receptors are used to control the symptoms of both the disease. Bronchodilators. Current antihistaminic limitations for first generation has old limitation. First generation is anticholinergic effect, CNS adverse effects including drowsiness, sedation, and somnolence, interaction between alcohol and other sedating agent. That is why second generation antihistaminics are used, but it has also limitations that it can lead to weight gain because there is a increased appetite, and drug interaction and cardiotoxicity is there, and some particular administered at high doses may still penetrate the blood-brain barrier and causes some degree of drowsiness in pregnancy also. That is why they have some limitations. That is why it can be used for a small time. Combined leukotriene receptors, antagonists, and antihistaminics. Histaminics and leukotriene key inflammatory mediator pathogens. Antihistaminics are effective in reducing pruritus, sneezing, watery rhinorrhea, therapy for the rhinitis, and this serves as the role of helping allergic rhinitis not controlled by this Montelukast is a Ig labels are controlled by the, this is a mast cell stabilizer, and if in the few starting phase we use the anti-allergics this is antihistaminics, and after some time, when there is not, it is not controlled, we use with Montelukast combinations. Ideal H1 antihistaminic properties according to the ARI guidelines. That antihistaminic should be used that is a potent and selective blocking agent at HV receptors, rapid onset, duration and long duration of action, no interaction, no ideal H1 antihistaminic properties, no cardiac safety will be there. Matlab that antihistaminic should be used, which is rapid onset, long duration, no cardiac activities, and not crosses the blood-brain barrier. Mastacine M. This is a Montelukast plus Bilastine combination. Yes, Bilastine. Yes, this is a Bilastine combination, and this is a good antihistaminic, and no second generation antihistaminic or no sedation is there, and it is a very smooth drug, and it can be given, doses can be increased up to 40, I think, desired for 40. A pharmacodynamics profile, Bilastine is highly effective, and it has a good Bilastine is H1 receptors threefold higher than the cetirizine and fivefold higher than that of fexofenadine. Yes, we are using nowadays, it is a latest drug and it is a very smooth drug. Onset of action is rapid within 1 hour and lasts for and longer duration of action, anti-allergic properties as well as anti-allergic properties. Cardiac safety is also there as compared to estimizole or other antihistaminics. The mechanism is ability to block the potassium channel, and CNS safety is also there. Non-brain penetrating antihistaminic, and this if it is combined with Montelukast, it decreases it is also a mast cell stabilizer, and this is Montelukast and Bilastine. Oral bioavailability, yes, this is not to remember combinations. We can give, if we are giving the combination of Bilastine and Montelukast, both are rapidly absorbed and both have the half-life of 2.5 to 5.5 hours and 14.5 hours, and all these things metabolize same. All you are using, nothing to say more about this combination. And it can be also used in elderly patient without any dose adjustment. And indication for the treatment of allergic rhinitis, contraindication is not so significant. And nowadays, syrup of Bilastine are also available. It can be given to the children also, pediatric patients also. Recommendation: American Academy of Family Physician Guidelines, allergic rhinitis and its impact on asthma. Bilastine is the second generation antihistaminic. It is first line preferred. Bilastine prevent itching, sneezing, and rhinorrhea. And it is also, if it is combined with Montelukast, it is the mast cell stabilizer also. Montelukast, bronchoconstriction, mucoproduction, and mucal edema and inflammation, they are inhibited by this, and that is very important. And Bilastine release rhinorrhea, all these things, postural nasal discharge, and Montelukast prevents nasal blockage and bronchial tree blockage, just justifying their combination used in the management of persistent allergic rhinitis and asthma. Summary: just to summarize all the webinar, there is no scientific evidence that treatment for allergic rhinitis either increase susceptibility to severe allergic rhinitis syndrome infection or the severity of COVID-19. There is no scientific much evidence. Therefore, current guidelines for allergic rhinitis should be continued as prescribed, both for non-infected or in COVID-19 diagnosed patients. allergen avoidance measures. That is why we are using mask and social distancing. Nasal saline douches is very important because it dilute the allergens. Background control therapies such as nasal corticosteroid or second generation H1 blockers. Such treatments can help to reduce the spread of this severe allergic rhinitis syndrome infection by targeting characteristic clinical feature of allergic rhinitis, such as sneezing and rhinorrhea, might prevent unnecessary visits to physician and emergency departments. Therapeutic outcomes of allergic rhinitis and asthma have shown that allergic rhinitis treatment improve asthma symptoms and lowers overcost and reduce hospitalization, suggesting upper airway disease risk factor for asthma. FDC bilastine with montelukast has a complementary mode, and they are the latest drug, and we are using and we are getting the good response. And they are the smooth drugs, and allergic cases we can use these very frequently. Juventus has come up with Mastid M, and a combination which offer additional benefit to synergistic action of allergic rhinitis and combined allergic rhinitis with asthma syndrome. This area recommendation, bilastine has given 10 numbers and fexofenadine 9.5 and levocetirizine 6.5. Brofil, these are bronchodilators, these are steroids, these are Nucalcast, Agitas, and thank you for such a patience hearing. Any questions that are welcome. This is a very good topic. I think you have learned in this pandemic, allergic rhinitis should be treated in a 360 direction management properly. If it is diagnosed, we can prevent most of the asthma and COVID positive patients so just for hospitalization, just to prevent them from hospitalization. Thank you.
Thank you, Sahani sir. If you can just stop the screen sharing so that we can take questions one by one.
Sharing stop kar diya.
Yes, sir. Yes, any questions from everyone? Because at present I am not able to see any question in the chat box.
Okay.
Even if anybody, any of the delegates want to ask the question, they can also speak. I can give the permission. You can just raise your hand. There's one option there at the bottom. You can raise your hand and ask the questions. Seems to be no questions from anyone. It was so crystal clear as a discussion, sir. That's no questions. Everything was explained very beautifully. We will wait for some time. If there are any questions, we will take them, or else I will hand over this session to Mr. Rahul Mathur to give the vote of thanks on the behalf of Suventus. I think it seems to be very clear and there are no questions from any of the delegates. I would ask Mr. Rahul Mathur to give vote of, okay, we have one of the question from one of the delegates. The question is how you rate bilastine over other anti-allergic or antihistaminic agents.
Basically, all histaminics have do the don'ts. some antihistamine, fexofenadine has got tachycardia, and this bilastine has got no tachycardia. If patient is having anxiety, and we have to prescribe bilastine, is better option for them. All are the same. Some has the some properties, some has the some properties. This fexofenadine has a got is a delayed onset and small duration of half life is less. In bilastine, it is rapid onset and concentration level is very high. So I think bilastine is better in cases of anxiety. Nowadays, we are seeing psychosomatic disorders patients are more, and we are seeing the pulse is more. At that time, fexofenadine, when we have to give metacarb or any propanol, we have to give accordingly. So I think bilastine is a smooth drug, and there is no tachycardia and cardiac safe. So that is why bilastine we can give safely, and we can give BD also. The doses can be monitored. We can give BD also. So still there is no tachycardia. And I have given to some patients BD also, and they are getting good results. In fexofenadine, one or in levocetirizine, you see sedation is very high, and in the morning patient is not fresh. They are complaining that I am feeling very drowsy and I am not fresh, I am not enthusiastic, I am unable to do the work. And in bilastine, it is a smooth drug, and we prefer smooth drugs. So some patients are that कि डॉक्टर साहब आप तो ऐसा लिख दो कि हम तो सोते रहें आराम करें, तो उनको हम लिवोसिट्राजिन लिख देते हैं, लिवोसिट्राजिन हम TDS तक लिख देते हैं. It depends on the patient to patient and conditions of the patient. But for the cities patient, soft patients, आजकल सभी लोग soft हैं और सभी लोग slow चलना चाहते हैं, तो we prefer soft drugs. These are the soft drugs. Bilastine is a soft drug, and I prefer bilastine.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Rahul sir.
Nitesh, well, there is one more question. It is there is a role of Montelukast with antihistamine combination into the post-COVID recovery phase, sir?
In post-recovery phase, yes, you can give. Basically, Montelukast is I have told you this ACE, it is angiotensin converting enzyme, that is a host for this COVID.
Okay.
So if and it is present in the nasal mucosa. So if anti-allergic we are not prescribing, and if it has a viral infection, so this ACE level will decrease.
Okay.
ACV level will increase. So host will increase. So when the power of the host will increase, viral infection can easily be kept. That is why in the post cases, we can write this bilastine Montelukast combinations.
Okay, so there are one more query that is coming, that is regarding that the sneezing and all when it is happening. So how this you can have that vaporization or the inhalation therapy, steam inhalation?
What? Pardon?
That is, if there is a symptoms of sneezing and all, there
Okay,
is then what is the role of this steam inhalation?
Role of steam inhalation? These are diluting all these enzymes and this ACE to IG levels, and allergens are diluting, and vasoconstriction is there, blood supply is low, so it works as a decongestant also. So steam inhalation is best. Steam, we are advising nowadays we are advising normal saline nebulization.
Okay.
In post-COVID patient, I am regularly advising nebulizer with normal saline nebulizing, and they are doing well. Because dryness is there. In this patient, dryness is there. So just to prevent dryness in bronchial tree, जैसे करते रहते हैं लोग, this is due to dryness. If they will take normal saline, simple normal saline nebulization, they will feel better.
Okay, there is
Sir,
one
there
more
is-
more question is from Dr. Kamlesh Singh.
Okay.
That the coming month is common cough and cold.
Yes.
And there is expecting a COVID-19 third wave and also AR.
Yes.
So how we can differentiate clinically?
We can differentiate clinically. In COVID patient, the patient will say if there is a anosmia, मेरे को खुशबू नहीं आ रही, मेरे को खुशबू वगैरह नहीं आ रही. अगर वो जैसे ये बोलता है खुशबू वगैरह नहीं आ रही है, तो गो फॉर ICPTR टेस्ट. तो आपको पता लगाना चाहिए. अगर वो कह रहा है कि नहीं है, कि भाई खांसी है, उसमें कोविड में ड्राई कफ रहता है,
Okay.
इसमें स्पूटम रहता है, इसमें क्या प्रोडक्टिव कफ रहता है. तो अगर ड्राई कफ है, हेडेक है, फीवर है, तो देन इट मींस कि कोविड, पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ कोविड इज देयर. और इफ द पेशेंट इज सेइंग कि देयर इज एनोप्सिया, आई एम नॉट एबल टू स्मेल एनीथिंग, तो दैट इज कंफर्म कि you go through ICPTR rest allergic rhinitis patient, treat it as an allergic rhinitis patient, nothing to worry.
Okay.
और मास्क तो है ही, मास्क तो प्रिवेंशन के लिए है.
Correct है सर, correct.
That is why कंपनियां वगैरह मास्क दे रही हैं आजकल सब.
जरूरी है सर.
बहुत
That
जरूरी
is
है.
that is the one protection which is there.
वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. आपने देख ही लिया कितना जरूरी है. और आजकल का जो क्लाइमेट है, ह्यूमिड है, हॉट है, ऐसे में तो क्या है कि अस्थमेटिक पेशेंट के लिए बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है.
Okay.
और आजकल लोग ये जो पुड़िया उड़िया सब खा ही रहे हैं, आप देख ही रहे हैं, तो सबको COPD है ही अंडरलाइन.
Correct सर.
तो COPD उनको होना ही, अगर अभी नहीं है तो यंग है, आगे चल के उनको होना ही है, क्योंकि अभी वो पुड़िया खाते जा रहे हैं, नशे में चलते जा रहे हैं, आगे चल के COPD होनी है. वो तो फ्यूचर पेशेंट है. तो अगर अंडरलाइन अस्थमा में COPD है, तो आप सोच लो कि मतलब कितना परेशानी है कि आपको ब्रोंकोडायलेटर भी देना पड़ेगा, आपको मसल रिलैक्सेंट भी देना पड़ेगा, और आपको स्टीरॉइड भी देना पड़ेगा. सब कुछ देना पड़ेगा लाइफ लॉन्ग.
That's right.
तो ये दिक्कत है ना. और फिर भी मरीज मानता नहीं है कि तंबाकू छोड़ूंगा नहीं है.
सब कुछ सिखा दिया बट हैबिट डाई नहीं हुई अभी.
नहीं, वो हैबिट चेंज नहीं करता ना आदमी.
हाँ.
वो क्या सबकॉन्शियस माइंड का काम है. एक्चुअली में क्या हैबिट जो फॉर्म हो जाती है ना, दैट इज द वर्क ऑफ सबकॉन्शियस माइंड. तो सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में आदमी जाना ही नहीं चाहता. सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में आदमी जाता है साइलेंस में, क्लोज टू नेचर में, स्लो डाउन होता है तो जाता है. अब आदमी स्लो कहाँ है आजकल, फास्ट है. भाई डिस्को में जा रहा है, वो स्लो कहाँ है. शांति किसको पसंद है. तो वही सबकॉन्शियस में जाने के लिए तो आपको वेला बैठना पड़ता है. वेला मतलब फालतू कुछ काम नहीं करना. अभी अपन लोग क्या करते हैं, फ्री हुए तो टीवी लगा लिया, और फ्री हुए तो वो मोबाइल देख लिया, गाना लगा लिया. कहाँ जा रहे हो, मंदिर मत्था टेकने जा रहे हैं. अरे कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि आप कार लेके जा रहे हैं, आपसे कोई पूछे कहाँ जा रहे हो, पता नहीं यार कहाँ जा रहे हैं. जब आपका नेचर ऐसा बनेगा, जब सबकॉन्शियस माइंड एक्टिवेट होता है, जब 95% एनर्जी होती है. ये मॉन्क वगैरह जो इतने ऋषि मुनि रहे हैं, ये पागल थोड़ी हैं जो एकांत में बैठते थे, साइलेंस में जाते थे. तो आदमी को शांति पसंद का आजकल.
Nobody want.
Nobody want. तो इसलिए दिक्कत है, हैबिट हटती नहीं है. हैबिट कैसे हटेगी. हैबिट तो सबकॉन्शियस माइंड है ना. इसलिए एक बार शराब की आदत पड़ गई तो वो वहीं ले जाता है सबकॉन्शियस माइंड. चलो बेटा 7 बज गए, आ जाओ. कोई ना कोई बहाना ढूंढ लेता है तो अपनी पार्ट. तो इसलिए सबकॉन्शियस माइंड से हैबिट हटाना, यू हैव टू वर्क फॉर. ठीक है नीतीश. हाँ राहुल जी.
Did you anything?
No. There are no questions as such now. I think all the questions have been answered. I would hand over this session to Mr. Rahul Mathur to give vote of thanks on behalf of Juventus.
Given a very good highlight on the COVID and the AR, both the things, as well as how to deal with the Karas. That is the wonderful topic, and you have given a very good point on that, how it is with you. Thank you very much, and thank you all the delegates.
Thank you
for the participation.
लिंक भेज राहुल जी, लिंक भेज देना यार.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.